Hi everyone, Vegas Film Critic here, Jeffrey K. Howard, here to review Dark Phoenix, starring Jessica Chastain, Sophie Turner, Michael Fassbender, James McAvoy, Jennifer Lawrence, and directed by Simon Kinberg. And there's a lot more X-Men, I'm sure, that I could go through, but they're pretty much all they're all back. And this is the 12th installment in the series over 20 years. Can you believe that? Finally wrapping up all the loose ends with all the X-Men movies with the Jean Grey origin story with Phoenix. And what I love about the X-Men movies versus the Disney Marvel franchise over there is that it's just always so heavy. It has such a different feel to it. It has a different vibe. And I've always appreciated that versus the Disney ones. You know what I mean? And so every time I see an X-Men film or a Wolverine film, there was always just the vibe was just more mature. Does that make sense? Even though I love the Marvel Disney films, don't get me wrong, they're their own animal, but just something about the X-Men movies. I mean, Logan and all this, just fantastic. So I was really excited to see the origin story of Jean Grey, to see Phoenix. I have to shout out to my best buddy, Dan. I took him to my my Critic screening and he brought me this shirt. It's because he knows I always wear, I get a superhero film. When I review it, I get a superhero shirt, so he got me this shirt. So thank you big time for that. So the origin of Jean Grey, Phoenix is the backstory. We have Professor X who finds her as a young girl. She has her mutant powers. She can't control them. She's always blaming herself for the death of her parents. And Charles, of course, takes her to his special school and says, look, you're not broken. I'm going to help you get through this. We're all just like you. We're all discovering these powers and learning how to live our lives in this world, and all for good. So the X-Men are going on a mission, jump forward, 15, 20 years later. The X-Men are going to outer space. Yeah, they're going to outer space to do a rescue mission for the space shuttle. And while they're up there, there's this entity, this energy force that's floating around up there in space that sees Jean, attaches itself to it, and makes her the most powerful mutant there is. I mean, we're talking like Thanos kind of stuff, right? Really crazy stuff. But as she's doing this, it changes her. She can't control it. As we see in the later X-Men films, when she has emotional outbursts, when she gets upset, when she starts questioning her life, about her relationship with Professor X, with Charles, about being lied to, and about all kinds of complicated things going on. Definitely, this is no spoilers. I'm not going to spoil anything. But she marches out on her own because she wants to figure out who she is and what the meaning of life for her is. And while she's doing that, Jessica Chastain, working for the FBI, she's trying to get her on her side. The government is also one step away from rounding up all the mutants. So Professor X has to constantly tell people, look, they're going to look at us as monsters if we're not careful. Okay, we're just one step away from that. That where we're going to be hunted down again and destroyed, or rounded up or corralled up like that. So of course, when Jean goes off on her own, she turns to who? Magneto. So Michael Fassbender, who has this kind of like hippie commune island out in the middle of nowhere, where she's going, look, I need your help. How did you control the anger that you had, that you wanted to kill everybody? And of course, Magneto's really evil. He's like, I didn't. I wanted to kill people. So like I said, this movie is super dark. It really is. So she's going through all these growing pains, I guess, if that's what you could call them. So overall, the movie is dark. It's intense, it's evil, it's serious, and that's what I love about this. There are some action sequences in this movie. I always thought to myself, when we see Magneto in the past, in the early, for First Class, and all, he's lifting submarines out of the water and doing all these amazing things. I thought, how are they gonna top that? They do. He lifts a subway right out of the ground. I mean, I'm not trying to spoil things, but that's just a small taste of what Magneto can do. Also, there are some train action sequences. I love train movies and the battles that happen on a moving train. This thing goes on for like 20 minutes, and it's just masterful. It's like a ballet of action. I mean, what's his name again? Simon Kinberg. You just staged the most incredible action sequences. And if this is the final X-Men movie for a while, we're going out on a strong note. We really are. And overall, we got our favorite people back. Quicksilver is back, and of course, Raven is back. There are some really great X-Men kind of cameos, and also the relationship between Magneto and Professor X is just as crazy as ever. It really is. That's kind of like, I love James McAvoy. He's one of my all-time favorites, trust me. But, he does kind of do those speeches all the time, and there's good in you, and, I know you can do this, and, what are you doing? Don't do that, Eric. And it's like, sometimes it's like even the characters go, what, you have another speech? Hey, you're going to tell us what to do again? Save it. So there's some intense action going on here. Great special effects. Jessica Chastain is so fantastic in this. I can't reveal some of the spoilers that are happening here, but she plays I can say maybe a double agent, a dual character. So overall, Dark Phoenix is a great way to end the series until Disney figures out what they're going to do with it. Hopefully, they're going to let the Fox people do what they do and not try to mix it in with the Disney Marvel MCU. Please don't do that. You know, I just love how separate it is. You can do it with Spider-Man, but just leave the X-Men alone. I know they weren't there for Endgame and whatever that thing is. Also, there is no Easter egg. So watching at the end of this movie, you sit through all the 15 minutes of credits. There's really nothing there. So don't waste your time doing that. There's a nice dedication to Stan Lee in there. So that was really heartfelt. Overall, Phoenix is pretty cool. I think you're gonna like it, and especially because it's just really heavy, and that's what I wanted from my X-Men movie, and I think you will love it too. All right, for more reviews and interviews, just surf on over to my website, vegasfilmcritic.com. Check me out on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you subscribe. That way you won't miss any of my reviews or my interviews. Also, what did you think of Dark Phoenix? You know, leave me some comments below. What did you think? Was it too heavy for you? I like that. Also, make sure you give me a thumbs up. I'm Jeffrey K. Howard in Las Vegas. Thank you for joining me. And Dan, thank you so much again for my shirt. I'll see you next time.